All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Associated Guest. I, as always, am your host, Alfie Animus, here at the Bear in Mind channel. And today we apparently there's a lot of news that happened yesterday. Some of these are from a couple of days ago, and some of these are just from yesterday. Paris is burning. Karmelo Anthony's supporters are still asking for help, even though the kid is ridiculously guilty. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely insane that this is even a conversation. That it's become a race thing. It don't matter. If the races were reversed, I would feel exactly the same about this. If some white kid was sitting at a tent from a school that he didn't even go to, or whatever the situation was, or sitting underneath someone else's tent, and were the kids probably punks about it? Probably. But for you to go directly to stab someone in the heart is crazy, but we'll get into that. Looks like Hasan Diddy Piker may be banned. We'll find out from what in just a second. Kevin Hart apparently getting canceled. Cynthia Erivo crying again. And then we'll see if we can get into the bonus story of the day.
Bro, this shit was crazy. 1 dead, 780 arrests.
Asman, don't do that. Don't. You've got no hood, bub. You're not hood. Don't say 100. It's 100. 100. You sound ridiculous.
Jubilant celebrations turned into rioting and clashes with police after the streets of Paris
I heard archways like this are racist. That's very bad, Paris.
were overtaken by joyous PSG fans celebrating their club's victory.
Let's celebrate by killing somebody.
Fans with flares briefly took over the main ring road that surrounds Paris, bringing traffic to a standstill. Bus shelters destroyed and cars and trash were...
What the fuck is going on?
Police in the capital appeared overwhelmed by the chaos. Similar scenes reported in multiple French cities, including Grenoble.
All right, sorry, I'm a layman. PSG, apparently this is soccer. I will say if he says anything about migrants on this, I'm gonna have to disagree. This is just soccer hooligans. This is very normal for Europe. This one might be a bit much though.
Bordeaux, Lyon, Strasbourg, and Rennes.
Wait, this is for a soccer game?
Yes.
The riots and clashes with the police are now taking place at the next to the Eiffel Tower. Oh my God. Paris is burning. The fire reaches the Eiffel Tower. Man, what a scene. Cool picture though. Yes, Nevrons are real.
I mean, it is dope looking.
Nevrons are real, and they're in Paris right now. And they're shooting it at the police officers? This is insane. Harry Potter. Nevrons in Paris. That was a great song. Paris.
Notice this is what the police come out for. Of course it is, because people are lighting the city on fire. Look, this is one thing I'll say. Stop celebrating like crazy people anytime your team wins or loses. This is the first time I've seen this in a very long time, but it used to be somewhat commonplace depending on what city in the Northeast that you're from.
Paris is inflamed. Dude, this is actually such a crazy photo. Like, it's actually insane, the framing for some of these. Muslim gang riots. Why do people think it's a Muslim gang? Okay, I get it. Lighting the garbage on fire? Okay, yeah, because it is. And there is the Eiffel Tower. And this is the aftermath? Holy fuck. It's like a fucking war zone. This is how Polish fans celebrate their club's victory. Wait, so you're telling me you don't have to burn down the city? Why would you destroy your own country? This is the problem. I'm going to just be brutally honest, and I'm going to speak in plain English. I think that Hitler mind-fucked and the Nazis mind-fucked all of Western civilization into thinking any degree of cultural preservation is inherently evil. All of these countries, I think, were so deeply, profoundly affected by World War II, they view any level of cultural preservation through the lens of Nazism. And because of that, it's led them down basically a suicide path. They're unable to acknowledge that there is a problem. They're unable to do that because they don't want to be perceived as this evil that they have recently overcome. PSG win.
Which is funny considering that most people, left and right, seem to be perfectly okay with talking about how they would very much like it if Jews didn't exist. Again, you can criticize Israel and things that they do. Of course you can. Of course you can. However, saying people that think Israel should even exist are the problem, or Jews are the problem. I mean, how is it people are completely okay with people saying that Jews shouldn't exist or Zionists shouldn't exist? Or things like from the river to the sea, which means the extermination of Israel. Very much does. But you can't be okay with saying that it's okay to be proud of your country. And even though you have rough parts in your history that a lot of people would rather forget, it's okay to be proud of where you're from. No matter where you're from. That's the bad part. That's the part that makes you a Nazi.
Wins the CL? No. 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 They can't do this.
Jesus.
I'm not speaking.
All right, so let's get into this other bit.
For the whole black community. I'm just speaking for myself. Yes. I'm going to say it out loud. Yes. I am defending Karmelo Anthony because he's black.
Well, he killed somebody.
I'm defending him because he's black. Because you attacked him because he was black.
No, nobody attacked him because he's black. Someone attacked him because he killed someone. At least the people online did. The other ones did. Well, look, teenagers are assholes. We have to accept this. And just because two teenagers, one white, one black, got into it, unless someone was screaming the N-word, and I've seen all kinds of video on this, and a lot of people have seen the video on this. Nobody's seen that. Hey, good morning, Frisbee. Nobody's seen any instance of that. That is not what this is. If it is, I'll eat all kinds of crow, humble pie and all. But that is not what this is.
You decided that he was a thug because he was black.
No, we decided he was a thug because he killed someone. He killed someone over a seat.
You decided that this young man shouldn't have a bond because he was black. You decided that this young man should be charged as an adult because he was black.
No, because he killed someone.
Black.
Again.
This young man should get life in prison.
I'm okay. How are you?
Because he was black.
No, because he killed someone. But they decided he just needed life in prison because he killed someone. There was no fight. There was no struggle. There was a, hey man, this is reserved seating. And then he straight up went to, if you touch me, I swear to God, I'll stab you. And then they touched him and he stabbed him. That's not self-defense, okay? Self-defense is equal footing. And that's it. Now, if they're kicking his head into the ground, then yeah. If they were punching the crap out of him and he just happened to remember he had something in his waistband, then sure. But going straight for the heart, I mean, come on, man.
You didn't even know the details. You still don't know the details of the case.
I do know the details of the case. You clearly don't know any details except for the races involved, sir.
So yes, I am defending Karmelo Anthony because he is black and you are attacking him.
I bet you still think Kyle Rittenhouse killed 3 black people.
Because he is black. You respect nothing. His father said he didn't think this was a black or white issue. He didn't want it politicized.
Because his father is seemingly a good person, and he doesn't want all of this that y'all are bringing to his family and to his court case. Okay, his father is trying to do what's best for his son, who killed somebody.
You turn it right around and you politicize it. You make it a black or white issue.
Sir, that's what you're doing.
And you think Black America is supposed to just sit back and let you find this young man guilty.
I didn't know Black America was a hive mind. I didn't know that it was like the Borg, that you all worked as one unit. This has nothing to do with Black America or any America. This has to do with a teenager who killed another teenager, sir.
In the court of public opinion, before he could even get a fair trial. Now, it don't work like that. It's cause and effect. You attacking him because he's black, I'm defending him because he's black.
That's not what's happening.
That's how that works. You still looking for your Trayvon Martin. You still looking to get even. You just have to be the victim. Y'all
That sounds like you're projecting.
need to grow up.
Sounds like you're
You
projecting.
need to grow up and have an honest conversation about
Honesty. Yeah, let's get honest.
race relations in America. You need to get honest with yourself.
Hey, good morning, Unica.
And some of you people probably were allies back in 2020. Some of you people probably were on the internet going, if Black America just educate us on what it's like to be black in America, until something like this happens and the true you come out. So yes,
This man's talking out of his ass. I don't even know what he's talking about anymore. Saying that they were allies 3 years ago, and then this happened. That was probably a you issue, not a them issue.
I'm saying the loud part out loud. I'm saying the quiet part out loud. Yes, I am defending Karmelo Anthony because he is black, because you have attacked him.
Same to
because
you,
he is
Unica.
black.
Same to you.
Boy. So we got to talk about the Karmelo Anthony trial, which is coming up here this week. Is going to not be televised, and I think that's a good thing, right? There are a lot of people on the right who have commentated on this, basically suggesting that the trial not being televised is a bad thing, right? And I actually think the exact opposite, because I think if it was televised, then that would increase the media attention, the national media attention on the trial, and that would risk the trial not going the way that I think that.
For those of you that don't know, question in the chat: who's Karmelo Anthony? About a year ago, I believe it was in McKinney, Texas. It was somewhere north of Dallas, not that far north. There was a sporting event, and they had all those little square tents that pretty much are just tent roofs, no walls. They were twins. I can't remember the name of the kid that was murdered, but he was a twin, and Karmelo Anthony was sitting underneath their little tent thing, and they asked him to move, and Karmelo Anthony said something to the effect of, "On God, if y'all try to move me, you'll regret it." And then they tried to move him, and he stabbed him in the heart with, some say a knife, some say a cleat sharpener. It's not necessarily clear on that. And then he ran. And then he told police that he did it. Yes. There's no allegedly. He did it. He killed him and he ran. I understand he might have been freaked out, but this kid stabbed a dude in the heart over a seat. And that's it. And I understand people will say, well, what if they were aggressive with him? There's no video representing that. There's no eyewitness testimony saying that the boys were rough with him. I imagine they were assholes about it because they're twin teenage boys and they're jocks. I always go straight to they were probably being assholes about it. But still, I've been bullied a whole lot my whole life. I never stabbed nobody in the heart.
The trial should go, right? I think that Karmelo Anthony likely is guilty. I do not think that he acted in self-defense when he decided to stab Austin Metcalf.
And he's 17 years old. Look, a 17-year-old being tried as an adult is nothing new. Okay, now if he was 14, 15, we can maybe have a conversation as to the long-term effects of that. But at the same time, he stabbed someone in the heart. One clean shot, not multiple stabs.
In the chest, doing a track meet, a conflict that escalated over a seat, right?
Yeah.
It should have never gotten to that point. Karmelo brought a knife. He used the knife, even though Austin Metcalf did not present with deadly force. He stabbed him in the heart. Austin Metcalf died in the arms of his brother. Karmelo ran away, and when he got caught, he said that
Which I got to say, as an identical twin, that would be horrifying, seeing your identical twin dying in your arms. It's like a nightmare, especially if you had just like dropped acid just before and you forgot that was him and you're you. But I'm sorry, I don't mean to joke about it, but as a dude who used to love tripping, it'd be crazy. And yes, the murderer was black. Yes, the victim was white. Don't really matter, but yeah, that's basically what it is. It's turned to a national race issue.
He did it, right? He admitted that, yeah, I did it, right? I'm not alleged. I did it. So, again, I just find it very, very, very difficult to believe that Karmelo is going to get off, okay?
The real crazy thing is they let him graduate, and now he's going to college. They let someone who killed someone bond out. This is crazy. It was something like that. It was some high-profile attorney. I don't know if it was Floyd's lawyer, but it's someone who very much reminds me of a certain character, Rollo Jackson, from the Boondocks.
He may not be found guilty of murder, okay, but I think manslaughter is at the very least what he's looking at, okay? And we're going to find out if any of the things that the pro-blacks, the woke revolutionaries said about what happened in order to justify this apparent murder is actually true. Like, for example, they claimed that the Metcalf brothers were trying to jump Karmelo, right? This is what they claim. This was a rumor that was spread on the internet, even though there's no evidence whatsoever to back up that claim. But again, they came out with all types of stuff, excuses in order to defend Karmelo. I mean, I think there's some people who are just being honest, and they're saying, hey, yeah, we're defending him because he's black, right? We don't care if he's actually guilty or not. He's black.
I respect that more than the people making up shit. I do, a little bit. Like I know I was just talking shit about it, but I completely understand the feel, the need, especially for older black people to defend this young boy. I understand the need for that. However,
black and the victim was white, and we don't like the white boy, so therefore we're going to side with a black murderer, right? That's essentially what we have here, okay? But, you know, we're going to get into how the pro-blacks are reacting to the upcoming trial. But first, I want to play a clip so that everybody is familiar with this case and where we currently stand.
Trial case against Karmelo Anthony in the stabbing death of Austin Metcalf during a Frisco track meet is heading to trial
that's
next
what it
week.
was.
The emotionally charged case shook Collin County, led to protests, threats, and doxing calls against both families and even a judge in the case. Maria Guerrero looks ahead to the trial.
And that's exactly why I think this shouldn't be televised. Okay, because just like a lot of cases, just like the Floyd trial, people will, and even if it's not televised, people will find out who the jury is, and they will threaten them. And it's only one side that does that, I'm just going to say.
Trial and how we got here.
Parents rushed to Kirkendall Stadium on a rainy April morning in 2025.
She witnessed some things, and we just finished talking to the police.
Not yet realizing the devastating details to come. The victim, 17-year-old Austin Metcalf.
The sad part about it is he died in his brother's arms. They were twins, identical twins.
Fatally stabbed in the chest, prosecutors say, by Karmelo Anthony, also 17 at the time.
I don't agree with that. Shapeshifter, I love you. But I think we can just call him evil. You know what I'm saying? Why lower yourself? You know what I'm saying? Like nobody should say it. Like, do I say it when I'm joking around with my, some of my black friends and all that? Yeah, but that's different. But nah, I don't. I mean, even if you think of the Chris Rock thing where it's, ends versus black people or whatever, it's just not a good look. Completely honest.
By all accounts, the two did not know each other. The confrontation reportedly over Anthony, a Centennial student, sitting under Metcalf's Memorial School team tent and told to leave by Metcalf.
And that is something high school people are very territorial. Yes. Nobody wants one person from one school, especially if they're decked out in that school's gear, to sit under a tent with the other school. You're there as competitors. I mean, I try not to curse, but we can all see how well that goes. I cuss a lot. I'm trying to cut it down in general, but it is what it is.
Turned physical, according to witnesses, even after Anthony reached inside his bag and threatened, "Touch me and see what happens."
Yeah, see, he reached inside his bag with intent. That's not something that just happened in the heat of whatever happened. That's intent. And that in and of itself should be enough to send this boy away for a very long time.
Will likely see surveillance video showing only a burst of action at a distance. Anthony running away after the stabbing before being caught and allegedly confessing. They'll likely see the knife covered at the scene with a blue tarp. Mike Howard is Anthony's defense attorney.
The prosecution will not be able to rule out the reasonable doubt that Karmelo Anthony may have acted in self-defense.
And I think in most self-defense cases, the dispute is regarding the reasonableness of the fear.
We asked defense attorney Russell Wilson, not involved in the upcoming murder trial,
that's stupid. If they get him off on this. What are the biggest
questions that have not yet been answered that could determine the outcome of the trial?
The exact details.
If he does lose, the family should sue the other family in civil court. Get him the same way they got OJ. Make them pay all the money that they've raised. And any money they will raise.
Of what occurred immediately prior to, during, and after the incident.
How is this self-defense?
His $1 million bond significantly lowered. The now 19-year-old faces up to life in prison. His parents went public with concerns for their safety.
I don't know why we are being targeted and discriminated against.
You're not being discriminated against. You raised the murderer.
Veteran prosecutor Bill Werski will seek a murder conviction. Judge John Roach not allowing cameras or audio inside.
Which is probably for the best.
In favor of more open courtrooms because society needs to know what happens in a courtroom.
Maria
Society knows what happens in the courtroom.
If we lived in a normal society, I would agree. I would say, yeah, I mean, generally speaking, I would like trials to be televised. I mean, let's be honest. For me personally, as somebody who could live stream the trial, who could, use clips from the trials and my videos, yeah, it's not in my best interest, right, personal best interest, for the trial not to be televised, but it's not about my own personal best interest in regards to, how I think this should play out. It's about the fact that we've seen what happens when you have these highly publicized and televised trials that get national news attention. You have the national news trying to sway the outcome. Okay, we all saw what happened with Kyle Rittenhouse. Okay, thank God that trial had the correct outcome, especially for the Second Amendment.
Yeah, and I will say the Kyle Rittenhouse trial went as it should. Okay, say what you want about I don't think he should have been there either. Having a teenage boy there to defend someone's. Now, if it was them standing outside their house, like say they lived at the company, the small company that they were defending, sure. However, having a teenage boy there was not the best idea. That being said, the gun didn't go across state lines, 1. 2, they lived on a border town, which I don't know if any of y'all know this, but if you live on a border town, a lot of people cross that border, state borders, to go to work. If it's the biggest town within X amount of miles, chances are someone crosses that border to go to work. I'm from a border town myself, state border, that is. It happens a whole lot. And then anyone who watched, and I watched the entirety of the Kyle Rittenhouse video. I watched all the videos of that night ad nauseum. The kid showed a lot of restraint and great shooting, I will say. He didn't shoot anybody. The boy ran. He didn't shoot indiscriminately into a crowd. One person grabbed the barrel of his gun. He got shot. The next ones were chasing him and taking turns beating him over the head with stuff. Okay. One of them got shot. One of them pulled a gun on him. Kyle did the same. The kid lowered the gun. Kyle lowered his gun. And then after he shot the other kid who was about to beat him over the head with the skateboard, which, yes, those metal things on the underside can do a lot of damage. As someone who's seen it in person, yes, it can. It can make you, we'll just say, a tard a tad bit of a tard. And then when the kid pulled the gun up again, Rittenhouse shot him in the forearm.
Case right here. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to see that, right? I don't want to see anybody try to intimidate the jurors or anything like that. Like, I think that ultimately at the end of the day, it's better for this trial to stay low key, right? As low key as possible. And quite honestly, I'm hoping that it doesn't turn into what it was, this giant race war when it first happened, okay? So with that being said, let's react to the pro-blackity blacks who are in full-blown panic over the fact that this trial is coming up, and it is likely that Karmelo Anthony is going to do a lot of time in prison for his crime. Because, again, these people are supporting Karmelo just because he's black, right? They can't come up with any real reason why Karmelo acted in self-defense, right, legally speaking. So, again, they just default to, well, he's black, he's one of us, so therefore we must support him.
It don't matter. It don't matter what race you are. Right is right and wrong is wrong. It don't matter.
Anthony trial is in June. The 17-year-old who was charged with unaliving Austin Metcalf in Frisco, Texas. And I just want to let y'all know that this is the biggest leave black people alone case that we've seen in years. This case sets precedent because everything about this case was about leaving black people alone.
What does that even mean?
Listen to these people, right? Listen to these people. It's actually unbelievable, right?
Like, I agree. People should leave each other alone. But at the same time, he was under their tent. Like, imagine you're at the beach and you lay out a big old blanket, right? You're having dinner there with your family or your friends or whatever. And then some random stray just comes and sit down on your blanket. I mean, y'all just gonna sit there, or y'all gonna ask him kindly to leave? I don't care. He could be in the like, let's say, just for funsies, the man's in a tuxedo at the beach, okay, or he's dressed nice. Who cares? It's somebody.
Everything about this case revolves around leaving black people alone, right? When Karmelo Anthony is the one who went and sat under a tent, right, that did not belong to him, right? It had nothing to do with him. He sat on somebody else's tent, taking up space, okay? And he was asked to leave, and he didn't leave. I'm not sure how you come away with leave black people alone as the takeaway here, right? That's what this is about.
That somebody lost their life. But this would never have happened if they would have left Karmelo Anthony alone. It don't matter.
This never would have happened if he had sat under their tent. I mean, I could do that too, man. You know what I mean? This never would have happened if he had just said, "Oh, yeah, my bad," and then left. This also never would have happened if he hadn't stabbed him in the chest.
He was under that tent. It don't matter what he had in his book bag. When they asked him to leave,
I mean, it kind of does, because it's illegal to have any kind of weapon on at any kind of school function, no matter what state you're in. I'm pretty sure.
And he refused. If they would have just walked away, this doesn't happen.
Walked away from their own tent. If they had walked away, just giving them the tent, this never would have happened. Yes, that's true. However,
this does not happen. But we know the entitlement.
See, and it's this entitlement. He said all that, and then he's talking about entitlement. Look, I'm all for just leaving folks alone. Okay. And yeah, they could have packed up their tent, I guess. I'm pretty sure most of them were tied down. And if they had gotten too close to the dude, he might have started to stabbing people, just considering. But, like me personally, I never wanted, like, if I didn't want an altercation with people, I wouldn't go sit at their table at lunch. You know what I mean? And if I did want an altercation with people, I would just go sit at their table at lunch and then see what they do. What are we talking about here? You are unraveling your own case, sir. Stop talking. Like this is not an argument. You are defeating your own case, and this is the reason that I get so mad at activists, especially on the left lately, is because they discredit their own arguments by being retarded.
We can tell you where you can sit, and if you refuse, we can remove you.
Well, I mean, you know, they have tents.
This ain't the back of the bus kind of situation, man. This is they have tents set up for established groups. That's how it is. Now, if he had walked up and be like, "Hey, can I sit with y'all?" that would have been different. They probably would have told him to fuck off because teenagers are assholes, like I previously said. But that's their right.
And assigned seating for a reason. And this is especially important when you're talking about track meets. People's stuff gets stolen. So
exactly,
these people try to make it seem like, oh, it's no big deal that Karmelo was sitting under another team's tent, and they were just freaking out for no reason. It's like, well, have you?
They
ever
don't know
sports,
this kid,
right? Have you ever participated in a sporting event where you have these hooligans walking around, these young scholars walking around, stealing people's stuff? That happens. So yes, it makes sense that rain or shine, right? The team who is responsible for the tent, whose stuff is under the tent, is gonna tell some sketchy black teenager, hey, you need to leave, right? That you can't sit under this tent. I'm sorry. And they certainly have the right to do that. It's about protecting their stuff, okay? Protecting their property, which people have the right to do. What Karmelo does not have the right to do is to stab people in the heart because of that, right? That's who stepped out of line.
But you can't. And this case says it all.
Does it?
This case says it all. They said so many negative things about this young man.
Because he killed someone. They said negative things about it because he killed someone over a seat. Look, I understand kids are assholes. But you don't get to stab someone just for being an asshole. I don't understand this line of thinking at all.
This young man wasn't a thug. This young man wasn't in the streets. This young man wasn't a gang member. This was an above average student, a student athlete. He graduated. He's in college.
Yeah, he graduated after he killed someone. Congratulations.
This was a good kid by all accounts.
Oh, I'm sure he was an angel. He was an angel. He
didn't 100%.
Right. An angel who never did nothing, right? He never do nothing, okay? Randomly stabs another teenager in the heart, right?
Sounds like a great kid.
He's an angel.
I want to invite him over.
That's what these people want us to believe. Amazing.
He didn't just turn into a murderer overnight.
I mean, he did.
But let's be honest. We know what this is about.
What is it about?
We know what this is about because these are the same individuals who carry firearms, and they will put you down in a fist fight. You could be unarmed, and they will put you down. But they don't understand what happened with Karmelo Anthony.
You don't understand the message of the movie Friday very clearly. Kids these days are so afraid to get an ass whooping. Put up your duke, son. Now, this is everything we needed. You win some, you lose some, but you live. You live to fight another day. Now, I bet you think you're a man with that shank in your hands, don't you? I'm a man without it. Put up your dukes. Now you a man. What are we talking about? It's an old lesson.
But we know what this is about.
No, what you don't understand is how self-defense works, okay? You cannot use deadly force when you're presented with a non-lethal threat, okay? You cannot do it, okay? That is like foundational to self-defense. He doesn't understand that if you kill somebody, right? If you kill somebody with a firearm, okay, in a fist fight, yeah, you're probably going to be charged and found guilty with either manslaughter or murder, just depending on the circumstances. They're probably going to get you for something, right? You're probably going to jail, okay? Unless the fist fight escalated to a point where a reasonable person would believe that, okay, like, I'm about to die in this moment, right? Like, for example, somebody's just getting pounded on the pavement and, you're banging their head in or whatever. Then, yeah, at that point, you might be justified using a firearm. But just a run-of-the-mill, stand-up fist fight, you're probably going to go to jail if you use a firearm, right? And what happened between Karmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf, by all accounts that we actually have, this could change. I'm open to who knows, right? Who knows what we're going to hear in court, all right? Or what we're going to read about what was said in court in regards to what happened. But based off what we know right now, that was not the case, right? It was Austin Metcalf at most pushed Karmelo Anthony, and a push is not deadly force, right? That's not a reason to use
push
deadly
is stupid
force.
asshole teenagers.
These guys clearly, when
Being
they don't
kids.
understand, when they're ignorant.
No, I haven't. I want to see Obsession in Backrooms. It's they're supposed to be. Indeed, let's invite for coffee with a police officer.
First thing they do is that they cry racism. Well, I don't understand the law, so it must be racist, right? I don't understand how self-defense works, so it must be racist. That's the logic here. Seriously.
Right? Because black defense against white aggression to them is criminal. And that's the bottom line. That's what this case is about.
I thought it was about somebody getting stabbed over a seat.
Black defense against white aggression.
That's not what that is.
Criminality.
Yeah, when you're not acting in self-defense. Yeah, when your use of force is disproportional to the force being used against you, then, again, it's not defense.
No.
Clearly, again, this guy doesn't understand that. But it doesn't matter to him because it's all about race. It's all about race. This is examining the case through the lenses of race rather than the actual facts and reality of what likely happened based off the information that we have right now, which, again, subject to change based off what comes out in the trial.
No, 100%. Look, and I'm going to stop it there. It looks like it's just more of this old beardy-headed fool talking. But that's all it is. It doesn't matter the race of the people involved. Okay, if this had been two black kids, it would have just been Chicago. If this had been two white kids, I mean, we would have heard about it, but it would have disappeared over a week or two. It would have been a tragic regardless. If the roles had been reversed and it was a white kid that killed a black kid, that white kid would probably have been found already and something be done to him. But as far as my position over it personally, I don't care. It's got nothing to do with the race of either person. It has to do with someone got stabbed by another person, and they're trying to get him off because he's black. I would be just as upset if they were trying to get him off because he's white. If Austin Metcalf had stabbed Karmelo Anthony, that fucker should go to jail. I'm sorry. Anyway, continuing on, Hasan Diddy Piper.
So he got banned off the UK? He got banned out the UK?
Left-wing YouTube pundit Cenk Uygur banned from entering the UK? Yeah. Okay, well, I didn't want to talk about it, but my visa has also been revoked.
Yay!
I just found out.
You shouldn't have been supporting terrorist organizations.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to see a Houthi musical? Sure.
I know they're singing, but I'm seeing this.
I will say it's about time, considering old Keir Starmer, that wanker, has already banned pretty much every other activist, dubbing them terrorists for going to Tommy Robinson's protests over, what was it, Mother's Day? Yeah, no, it makes sense that they ban chunky yogurt and old diddles here.
Guns and shit. This isn't a music video, Hasan.
We think the Houthis, Ansar Allah, is doing what Luffy would do.
You decided to...
Yeah, he said that this Houthi pirate was like Luffy. Nah, bro. If anything, and I hate to give you this kind of status because Doflamingo is a cool villain, you're more like Doflamingo without the tragic backstory.
Opt into the realm of supporting terrorism, and now this happened to you?
Yes, I will not be going as it stands currently. I don't believe that I'll be able to go to the United...
Yeah, supporting terrorism, it's actually not very popular in a lot of places of the world.
I can't believe I'm calling Nasrallah base. I mean, listen, these motherfuckers are better read than you by a million. I don't know who to reach out for this. I was supposed to do something with Zach Polanski, do something with Jeremy Corbyn, do something at the Oxford Union, and now the Labor government has revoked our visas. A sad state of affairs where obviously the interests of Israel take the highest priority.
The thing is that, like, there's a lot of people that are critical of Israel.
Hey,
but
speaking
they're
of
not
wankers.
banned. You can be critical of Israel while still saying that Hamas is a terrorist organization and not gassing up Houthis on your stream.
What the Houthis are doing is a good thing. 10 toes fucking down.
Like, I mean, you can do both of those
Ten
things. I think
toes
most people
down,
can.
he stands with the Houthis.
Nick Shirley can go, though, of course, because
Nick Shirley isn't supporting terrorist groups that murder and kill people. It's really simple, actually.
you know, walk around with like blades in their fucking belts and look cool, okay? And make musicals. They make a lot of
This
musicals.
dude right here
Nick
is
Shirley
like,
is a
what?
dog for the fascist state. That fascism is here. The UK that's like completely captive to the interests of pro-Israel advocacy organizations. Like they are.
Is Japan? Japan categorizes Hamas.
We
and
don't
all these
have
people as
fascism.
terrorists. At a certain
This is
point,
not a fascist
everybody
state.
that disagrees with you isn't Israel. It's so stupid.
And this is the liberal government, right? The Labor government is supposed to be the liberal government doing this.
Yeah.
And the American government is the right-wing government doing it. Like we are in the 1930s era.
Yeah, people are universally aligned against terrorism. This is on his Twitter account. You can see it's
Today
his
in
Twitter
America is
account.
like 1930s Germany, of course.
Poorest nation on earth, and they still find time to make music videos promoting a literal terrorist propaganda. How's he not banned? I don't know.
Straight up fucking fascism. That's it.
What makes it fascism? So if you don't let people that support terrorism into the country, it's fascism?
Do you think he's like Anne Frank?
What?
Oh,
Do you
no.
think he's like Anne Frank?
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, of course. Absolutely.
You think Tucker
Yes,
and Nick Fuentes
yes,
should
he's
also
like-
be
he's
banned?
like
No,
Anne
of
Frank
course
and
not,
Luffy.
because they don't support terrorist organizations.
That's
What
it.
are we
Israel's
talking
a
about?
Fascist country.
You're
and
talking
it
about the
gets
UK.
to enforce its bidding upon other countries, and in an effort to abide by the wishes of a foreign country like Israel, the Western liberal democracies that are supposed to protect and preserve speech, even if they don't have a First Amendment like we do here in the United States of America, they're supposed to.
Hasan doesn't care about freedom of speech.
He
doesn't
doesn't.
care about any of this. He had no problem getting Nick Fuentes deplatformed.
Look, most people only care about freedom of speech when it involves them or someone who says the same things that they say. That's the only time most people care about free speech. Me personally, I think you should be allowed to be retarded, but you're not allowed to promote the killing of anyone. You're not as allowed to call for someone's death. You're not allowed to encourage other people to do it. Like that whole "who's gonna do it" thing. Everyone who said "who's gonna do it" should have been at the very least banned, if not arrested. 100%.
Never said anything about me getting deplatformed. Whenever he's talking about freedom of speech, he's talking about his freedom of speech. The moment that it happens to him, well, now it's different. Oh, okay. Did Hasan Piker incriminate himself again? No.
Like, as an American citizen and as a member of the media, of course I'm going to sometimes talk to members of, state-sponsored terrorist organizations. That's a normal part of the process.
If you don't want to have that happen and you don't want to get
Well,
banned.
yeah, but you're not. It's different if you talk to someone who's the head of, and I love that he admits that they're a terrorist organization. But it's completely different to agree with them on everything and to geek out like you're meeting like my friend's wife when she goes to a K-pop function and meets the band. You're not supposed to giggle incessantly when you meet them or say that a literal Houthi pirate who kills people is like Luffy. Pretty sure Luffy, at least in the anime and the manga, has never killed anybody. Bruh.
And don't support terrorism. It's actually really simple.
Get ready to hear some real racist jokes from a guy who truly believes them and hopes J.D. Vance is watching. Guys, Tony Hinchcliffe. Make some noise for Tony.
I will say, that's funny as fuck. That's funny because some of it is couch and truth, and he does hope J.D. Vance is watching. Yes. Tony Hinchcliffe might be the comedian who sucked up to the admin the most, so that's just funny as fuck. 100%. Shout out to Shane for at least.
A lot of people were talking about what had happened during the Kevin Hart roast.
He got into a fist fight on a private plane, proof that no matter how much money black people have, they're still just gonna act like ninjas. Fist fight. You've done good though, Kevin. The black community is so proud of you right now. George Floyd is looking up at us all, laughing so hard that he can't breathe. God bless you, Kevin.
But we understand the tone. So then Kevin Hart, there's all this outrage, and he goes on the Breakfast Club after the fact, and he...
Hold on. Hasan and Jank didn't speak about the problem when the UK banned Tony Robinson supporters. They got what they supported. No, exactly. Exactly. They didn't care when the other side was being banned for no reason. They don't support a terrorist. They support Tony Robinson, who has been arrested for his speech twice. And look, I like Tony Hinchcliffe. I do. However, there needs to be a slightly stronger punchline. I will say that. Like, I completely support his ability to say the George Floyd thing, same way as I support Pete Davidson for the Charlie Kirk joke. Although I think it should be a better punchline to support, especially as recent as the Charlie Kirk one was. It should be a stronger punchline. However, I completely support their ability to say so. I mean, what's her name? Was it Cheryl Underwood? They were talking about how her husband killed himself. I mean, now that's been like 15, 20 years since that happened. I'm pretty sure. I know it's been a long time. And she was cool with it. She signed off on all that. And a lot of those jokes were really funny.
He talks about it, so.
The George Floyd joke, it wasn't a tasteful joke to our culture, to our audience. But our audience that's watching the roast, if you're watching the roast, you get why they're doing it. You get why the racial humor is on the table. I wasn't shocked. It happens every year when they do a roast. It's not new. It's not a new agenda. It's not a new approach to comedy.
Do you feel like Tony Hinchcliffe went too far when he made that joke about George Floyd?
It's Tony Hinchcliffe.
Yeah.
I don't expect less. I don't expect more. Pete had a great set too. Pete had a Charlie Kirk joke in there.
Yeah.
Like, would I tell those jokes? No. But do I get why they're being told? Yes. Like, I'm not looking at Pete crazy. It doesn't have to be that. It literally is either you're a fan of this level of content or you're not. Remove me from it. I didn't say it. If you are upset that the night went on, that's a different conversation. It's nothing I can do. It's a production. If I go to a nightclub and 2 people get killed that night at the nightclub, what's the headline?
Kevin Hart's party got shot.
Shot up. 2 people
killed
died at Kevin Hart's party. People may say, I'm never going to Kevin Hart's party again. I ain't fucking with Kev. You heard what happened. I go, but I didn't fucking do it. That's the nature of being the name.
Okay, I don't know, the more he talks, I think the worse he makes the whole thing. Like that
I thought the last part, that example was like, janky.
So it doesn't even make any sense. If you're hosting a party and it gets shots up, and if it happens regularly, then yeah, I think it makes sense people want to stay away. That's not comparable to you running your own production and then having control. And I'm not even saying you should yank somebody off the stage. I'm not. It's just like, comparison made no sense. And I think Kevin was doing a decent job of explaining his perspective beforehand. So I just thought that last part.
I was part of a roast.
Mm-hmm.
Here in Quebec, I was part of a roast. That's me on stage, right? And Quebec was not ready. Quebec was not ready for that because every time there was a roast, the crowd would go, oh. But that's Quebec, the province. They don't like confrontation, right?
Yeah.
I came to realize that I don't
Quebecois.
like roasts. I don't.
Even though they were the first people talking about leaving Canada, Quebecois to be its own province.
Like roast.
Or province.
I don't like participating in roasting someone. Because after that, I did roast one of my best friends. Didn't like the experience, right? Watching them roast, I can take that. I understand what a roast is. And I feel like those people do not understand what the purpose of a roast is and what a roast is. I said it a couple of times here in this on this channel. Comedy, especially roast, is exactly like your drunk uncle at Christmas. It's funny until it touches you. Right? It's the same thing with what happened with that roast. Y'all were kikiing with every other joke, other crazy-ass jokes, until it was a joke that was like, oh, too far. I don't like to go on roast because I know if you do something, like you roast me, I will take it too far. And y'all not ready for it in this province. They're not ready for that. So I'd rather not do that. The audience is not ready for that. If you do not like Charlemagne the God said,
I don't like when people joke about violent, tragic death.
Don't watch a roast.
Yeah.
The roast is not for you.
Yeah, it's not for you.
Roasting with your friends and everything and stuff is actually even different because they know there's a limit. Even though those jokes are abrasive and under the context of what a roast.
And I will say I miss the Comedy Central roast. Like, that, were they as big as they are now? No. Were they as long as they are now? No. But they were good. They were good, especially if you got the unedited DVD. They were good. They were a lot freer, and they didn't have as many eyes on them. But these things have been happening for a very long time. The first 2 roasts I watched were actually New York Friars Club roast, and it was where the big celebrities made fun of the big celebrities. And then they would hire a couple of, like, 1 big celebrity, maybe 2, and the rest were a bunch of, oh, I know that guy, and then some comedians.
That's exactly what a roast is. It's going to be foul. It's going to be too far. It's going to go to the place that you don't want it to go, but that is the contract of the transaction of a roast. Roasts are not for you. Take another meal. I got some of my friends that are a comedian for a long time. They're like, yeah, I can't do that because I don't know how the level of seriousness is. And that's a fair statement. Oh, you have to do this, you have to do that. No, don't tell me how to do comedy.
I am not going to sit here and have an issue because of this.
If you target them with slurs and you try to offend and oppress them, especially using language, at some point they're gonna slap you in your face, punch in your mouth, or put a bullet in your forehead. Ask Charlie Kirk.
Again.
Think about this.
Now, the reason why I felt comfortable laughing at that was because it was funny as fuck. Period. I'm an equal opportunist, you know what I mean? I don't believe that all this stuff is sacred and you can't joke about it, but I'm certainly not going to sit here and because somebody's making racial jokes that I'm going to turn around and act like that's unacceptable when I will laugh like crazy at a Charlie Kirk joke, okay? I'm fair. I don't like Tony Hinchcliffe, never have, but it doesn't matter. That's not part of this discussion, really.
No.
Okay? So for me...
Yeah, he's got 100% got the right to do it.
I call a spade a spade. He was clearly doing jokes. You may not like the tone. You may hate it. That's super fair. It's like when people do dark
his voice is annoying.
humor. Yep. And they have these crazy jokes about diddling kids or whatever it is. It's not for me. It ain't. And sometimes this shit gets in public. And I'm saying this is not for every audience, and I can understand. But that's what it is. Same way Preach said, that's a roast. Fine. I'm going to play devil's advocate for just a little bit, because I do think there's a part of this equation that's different, and it's this. Comedians have made themselves political.
Yes.
It's not just jokes. They have signed on to campaigns. They have gone on public platforms. They have done these sets in front of audiences about specific political issues. So I feel different. I think Tony Hinchcliffe is a racist. That's my personal opinion. Not because he did jokes like that, but mostly because of how he signed on to certain things and how he talks about political issues. The issue for me is not that these comics are up here doing these jokes. I don't give a fuck. I can see that it's clearly jokes. My problem is, I think you actually are. So when Shane Gillis, is that his name? When he's up there and he's saying, oh, from an actual racist, I'm like, yeah, that's what he is. But that's because of everything else. And a lot of these comics have signed themselves on to political platforms, have done propaganda for political.
See, and I like these two guys. However, they're Canadian. So you have to expect just a touch of a great retardation within them. But I'll allow them to finish.
Political apparatuses, and then want to pretend like their jokes are neutral. It's like, no, you made sure it wasn't neutral. That's why these politicians want to go on your platform. That's why they want to sign up with you. So I think a lot of this becomes a bit muddier because comics have made it muddy.
Yeah.
They want to say it's just jokes, but then they're doing these interviews and kiki and laughing it up and doing PR for these people. It's like, no, something else is happening.
100%. But I think
that's the amendment.
Like those two things again can coexist, right?
Yeah.
I think that yes, they are just jokes, and yes, they did make it political.
Mm-hmm.
But in this context, I'm like, yeah, no, that's not it. When I'll have other evidence of something or something out of the context of a roast, I'll be like, yeah, nah, you're fucked up for this thing.
Mm-hmm.
But now in the context of what a roast is, a roast is really no holds bar.
100%.
It's the valetudo of fighting. Your daddy did.
And even so, yeah, hold on, this right
here.
here.
In the 9/11, I'm going to talk about him.
Shit. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm ready to hear a bunch of jokes about my dad dying.
So stay out of being roasted.
But again, and I can relate to Pete Davidson of all people on this. It helps you get over it. It really does. In a sick, weird kind of way, it really does.
That's it.
Stay out of being roasted.
That's it.
Don't even watch it if you're going to be triggered by that. Yeah, know yourself as well. If you're going to be, it's not because it's out there for you to watch that you have to watch it. There's a lot of shit out there that is not for me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, did you see the new Aura? No, I'm not seeing that. I'm not watching that. Why? Nope, don't want to see it. When you see the guts fall, nope. to construct more clever jokes than the tired racial trope, I'm just not interested. Wasn't funny, especially the jokes about the one ended to you.
Yeah,
and if you're not interested, that is the good way to go.
Yeah. But just listen to his interviews. He had negative opinions about white people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Paul Mooney is.
We can't be racist.
Shit.
What, hold up.
He's joking.
People are racist.
By the
You
way,
guys don't think comics can be racist? Just because they're comedians and they're doing these jokes on stage does not mean that their real life doesn't reflect some of those values. I don't know. Sometimes people pretend like this art is super dissociated. Like there's this weird thing that the way people talk about comedy, they pretend like comedians, when they do these jokes, it's a complete separation from their personal opinions and their perspectives on life. And I can assure you, if you spend enough time listening to comics, you're going to see them in those jokes. It's just like listening to someone do music and then
Like Bill
pretending
Burr.
like their music isn't a reflection of some aspects of their life at some point or something that they feel.
There's a stage persona, but most of the time that stage persona is a puffed up version of you.
Yeah, it's an exaggerated
The base is still
or
there.
softer version
the
of
foundation
just
is still
you.
somewhere there.
Yeah.
Then after that, you're gonna go somewhere, or you're gonna in your mind or in your art.
Unless you're playing a character like Pee Wee Herman,
something that it's not.
or
but most of the time, it's really
Larry
just,
the Cable
it's
Guy.
You amplified. Bitch is still you. Dissociative. I think it's an extent that's.
But anyway,
somewhere
we're going
out
to
there.
continue on to other people crying. Cynthia Erivo.
Guys, Cynthia Erivo is crying racism. Yes, again. Let's talk about
Ooh,
it.
to Variety.
Yeah, you better. Guys, before we get into today's video, please like and subscribe. Today we're talking about Cynthia Erivo of Wicked Stardom. Now, she played Elphaba, the Wicked Witch of the West, alongside Ariana Grande's Glinda.
Or as I like to call her,
true
Black
rise
Nosferatu.
to stardom, although she'd been in many.
This woman, she used to be, and both of them used to be fairly attractive. But God, just ever since they both got put on this movie, they lost a lot of weight. And look, like they look almost vacuum sealed. You know what I mean? Like it's horrifying.
Many other projects before and had a very overwhelming career on Broadway and probably will continue to.
The theory
But
is
we're
real.
actually speaking about a lot of the treatment that she received during the Wicked press tour and the way in which she was labeled Ariana Grande's sort of masculine bodyguard. And we'll talk about this and
I mean, where's the lie?
why she may have been labeled this way. She says it's because of race. I think that we've
No.
really come to terms with
No, it's because you look like you were vacuum sealed, and you were always like pulling her away from people. That's just facts.
the
on the ground.
insidious nature of how we view Black women. And I'm sure people will read this and think, oh, for goodness sake, it's not about that. But it is, because that's what was being made fun of. It was my physique, it was my shape, it was
Yeah.
the fact that I was bald. It was about
Yeah.
what I looked like.
Yeah.
And because of that,
It's not
there
the-
was
not the-
this
not the
assumption
skin.
that I was bigger than my co-star. And so I had to be controlling and protective, and that was my role. I would hazard a guess that it would not have been the same if it had been the other way around. Now, she was widely talked about as being Ariana Grande's sort of controlling bodyguard during her time in the Wicked press tour. And I think
But let's just remember the first time that she was in the news during the press tour for the first Wicked. Some fan who very much loved the stage performance of Wicked, they altered the poster with her face on it to make it look more like the illustrated poster from the Wicked Broadway or the stage play or whatever you want to call it. She said this was racism because it covered her eyes and therefore covered her identity as a black woman. Bitch, your skin is painted green. What are we talking about here? You're playing a green character, okay? They covered your eyes because the brim of the witch's hat covered the witch's eyes in Wicked. It was an aesthetic choice. It was a style choice. The fan did not do it out of ire or disdain for you. They did it out of a love for the property to which you've been attached. Okay? That's it. That's it. And it just shows that how quickly you are to yell racism at any given moment. It's absolutely ridiculous, man. Like, and we're supposed to take this one seriously too after that one.
it's more so because they had a very strange dynamic with one another. And the reality is that Cynthia Erivo does appear quite masculine alongside Ariana Grande, or next to Ariana Grande. And I think that's something that we cannot forget. We also can't forget that Cynthia Erivo does have a history of crying racism. I'm going to bring up, of course, the Wicked poster.
Yeah, exactly. I'm glad she brought this up.
Okay, so right here is the Wicked poster for Broadway. A fan took the new Wicked poster and was like, you know what? I see this. I'm going to edit it like the Broadway poster. And that involves
Done out of love.
Cynthia Erivo's eyes.
Oh, no.
Cynthia Erivo saw this fan edit. A fan, by the way. Let's emphasize that. And posted it online and said, this is the wildest, most offensive thing I have seen, equal to that awful AI of us fighting, equal to people posing
which was hilarious.
Is your P word green? None of this is funny. None of it is cute. It degrades me. It degrades us. The original poster is an illustration. I am a real life human being who chose to look right down the barrel of the camera to you, the viewer, because without words, we communicate with our eyes. Our poster is an homage, not an imitation. To edit my face and hide my eyes is to erase me, and that is just deeply hurtful.
This whole time, I can just hear Cynthia Erivo's voice disappearing as she falls into her own asshole. This is the kind of person who has never really seen any actual discrimination. To think that covering your eyes in a fan-made edit of a poster to a property that they loved is racist? No.
Little bit dramatic, and again,
a lot
it's
dramatic.
sort of harkening back to some of the common complaints that people make in regard to racism on these particular subjects, and she's sort of insinuating that because she's a black woman who's staring right down the barrel of the camera, somebody felt the need to erase that and thus erase her and her presence. So this is not the first time we've gotten racism allegations from Cynthia Erivo. Now, let's talk about whether or not that's true. Did she appear masculine during this press tour? And I can't believe I'm even having to talk about this.
A
but
lot.
The answer is yes. So maybe we don't jump to a racism allegation or jump to this idea that it's because we're black, when in reality, there are other explanations for why this was taking place with her. And it's not to justify bullying or the way in which people were making caricatures of her in cartoons and calling her all types of different names. It's just to say it didn't happen because you happen to be a black woman. No. Now, this is the same black woman who posed for GQ's Man of the Year. And let's take a look at this. This is, yes, feminine in some ways, but a very masculine portrayal of a woman on GQ's Man of the Year cover. And at the time, both her and Ariana were super proud of this being the reality. Let's watch the clip.
GQ Man of the Year.
Just a little bit. Coolest thing that's ever happened in the world.
Right?
Well deserved. Man of the Year is hilarious.
Let's go.
Okay.
I mean, she does kind of look like DMX got AIDS in prison.
So you decided to position yourself with a masculine framework in mind, and you decided to put that out to the world, and you felt honored by that reality. And now you're saying the reason that people are referring to you in such a masculine way is because you're a black woman? I don't get it. We also got moments like this on the press tour, which everybody has seen this meme of the fingers and the hand. This is a very feminine thing to be doing. This is a very masculine energy to be receiving it in. I think it's okay to say that. You have photographs like this one. Who's in the feminine position here and who's in the masculine position here? I think it's abundantly clear that Cynthia is taking on the masculine role. And then, of course, you have the many videos that went viral.
She looks like Isma. Isma's in your chair.
Ariana Grande likes to present herself in a particularly feminine way, like an uber feminine, almost infantilized feminine way. So any woman sitting across from her is probably going to come off a little bit more masculine than she is. But I think Cynthia Erivo tends to lean way more on the masculine side than other women do. And that is okay. It's okay to present that way. Let's watch.
100%. Even through this Press to her. Something's bothering her. She's gonna fix something. I know. She's getting the fixing itch that Cynthia Erivo gets.
It's not there.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, because the thing is...
Biggest pinch me moment for each of you on the set? Was it the day you arrived on the set or some
You'd be able to grab that
moment
bet if you didn't have them
during the
ridiculous
filming of
nails
this
on.
for
I'm
each
just
of you?
saying.
Okay. And then past this video, we're going to get the bodyguard video in question where she actually is protecting Ariana Grande from a crazed
What was the
fan.
biggest pinch me?
Look how skinny she's gotten too. This movie was kind of horrific for these women.
Okay, so at the end of the day, all of this is quite trivial. Let's be honest. It's kind of ridiculous that we're even having the conversation. But does this have anything to do with racism? Is she the victim of systemic oppression or, you know, localized racism?
Let's kick ahead to this person.
People would rather see Cynthia Erivo as a stud than as a femme, and that is because of colorism. Colorism makes it to where you think that dark-skinned people are masculine, and
look at Snob Marley over here.
Seeing that happen in real time with all the images drawing Cynthia Erivo as like this big, strong person who is protecting Ariana Grande, even though I think that she's actually like shorter than Ariana.
You mean people with eyes?
Grande. I feel that if we were watching two white women who are friends interact with each other, I think people would think it was just a deep, cute relationship. But because of...
I mean, if that's what it was, yes. However, if someone grabbed one of those people and the other one went over there ready to fight, no, they would say the same thing generally.
The race element, people can't help but see Cynthia as a bodyguard or as a protector to Ariana. And Cynthia also steps into this role as a protector, but it's just so interesting that when a dark-skinned woman is a protector, it is immediately masculinized in a way that it wouldn't be for someone else. And also,
by the way, just remember, Cynthia Erivo was voted GQ Man of the Year during the same time frame. What are we talking about?
So the way that colorism is playing within Ariana
But it's colorism.
Grande, where because she is white, she is also light at this time, because we all remember when she was doing the different shades, blackfishing back in the day. Because she's white in 2025, it makes her seem more feminine, and by proxy, it makes Cynthia seem more masculine. And
no,
Ariana Grande is not white.
Ariana Grande talks like this and presents very femininely. And I think it's because Cynthia Erivo literally jumped into a situation where there were security guards and male ones at that to protect Ariana Grande. The reason we associate protection with masculinity
closer to blackness or the darker your skin, the more connected to masculinity you are in society. And that happens with femmes too. Like people, like look at what's happening with Wicked.
Cynthia.
With Cynthia Erivo, like how
Cynthia's not a
they're
femme.
both, in my view, very feminine women, like her and you know Ariana Grande. But everyone's like, "Ooh, she's the butch" because she's like protected.
And meanwhile, in her actual relationship, like she's the femme.
She's the femme in the
yeah. Like she's in like a traditional stud.
Now that's her lesbian relationship. Now just because you're the more feminine one of your relationship doesn't mean that next to Ariana Grande you wouldn't be the more masculine one. I'd be the more masculine one next to her.
But anyway.
Now believe it or not, the Donald
Moving
keeps
on.
winning somehow. The Justice Department is launching a criminal investigation into E. Jean Carroll, who accused Donald Trump of sexual assault, CNN reports. Now, if you remember, she actually won a civil sexual assault lawsuit against Donald Trump. Now, for those of you that are unaware of the difference between civil versus criminal lawsuits means without a shadow of a doubt, he sexually assaulted her. And civil lawsuits means there is possible potential reason to believe that he might have sexually assaulted her. So he lost
Again,
a
just
civil
like the OJ
lawsuit,
trial.
which, in my opinion, doesn't actually prove anything at all. And by my opinion, I mean the opinion of the entire fucking world, because Donald Trump didn't go to jail for this, obviously. That's one. And two, I think the whole thing was hyper-politicized. I've been saying that I think this entire trial was a sham.
They
for years.
literally invented laws.
After it went on. Here you got this lady, after 40 years, she
Just to
decides
get
to
this
show up when
able to
Donald
do.
Trump is becoming the president of the United States, to now claim that she was raped. Now we have to believe her? Believe a woman? Unbelievable. What have we come to as a society? We're believing women now? This is crazy.
Like all of them?
Transgender person comes out of the sewer to say believe all women. I don't even believe that you're a woman. Why are we doing this? Anyway, of course, you got people freaking out. I cannot think of a more perfectly distilled example of why so many survivors of sexual assault don't come forward. I actually completely agree. Survivors of sexual assault don't come forward Because you have people like E. Jean Carroll, who, in my opinion, lie. That's right. It's because of the liars. If every single person who actually claimed that they were raped was telling the truth, then everyone that was raped would say it, and they would be believed because everyone didn't lie. But believe it or not, just like males, females are also human with the capability of lying.
No, they're not. I mean, the last part, yeah, but humans...
Especially if you're going up against a hyper-politicized opponent who's a billionaire. I'm just saying that makes it more likely that you're probably a lying bitch. And there are a lot more reasons for that we didn't even get to yet. But in my opinion, this is actually completely awesome. Right? Justice Department launched a criminal investigation into E. Jean Carroll, who accused Trump of sexual assault, according to sources. Justice Department launches...
And again, if she's lying, then good. Yes, pursue this. But if she's not, issue an apology at the end of it. I'm saying, look, me personally, I think for a long time these cases were swept under the rug, and a lot of them were lazily handled. A lot of them were just thrown out, mostly because people didn't want to investigate them for whatever reason. And then, especially in the case of things like the military and other such things, people start being lazy in the other direction to where they just say, oh, yes, believe them all. That's still being lazy. You're just going in the other direction. You have to investigate these things and take evidence into account. Or else, what is the system even for other than just punishing people for being accused of anything?
Criminal investigation into Trump accuser E. Jean Carroll. This is awesome, actually. But is Trump just going after people he doesn't like? Yeah. Isn't that great? No, I said, fuck yeah, dude. That's sick. If she actually committed a crime, she should do the time. I don't care who the fuck she is. In fact, I actually want everyone who committed the crimes to do the times. Listen, I'm a big Law and Order guy. And I have a very simple ideology when it comes to Law and Order. If someone falsely accuses someone of sexual assault, I think they should be tied to a post in public and given lashes in the middle of the street in the town square.
Like eyelashes?
Publicly live streamed for the nation's entertainment. Now, I'm not saying I want that to happen to her, because I don't know if she's innocent or if she's guilty. I don't know anything, all right? But if we actually have evidence that she lied about it, I think public lashes would be pretty awesome. I see some people saying death penalty. I'm not a barbarian. I only want her live streamed on twitch.tv/commandment9, getting absolutely punished for whatever crime she actually might have committed, allegedly.
What's that, bearing false witness
she
or whatever?
lied? No! You mean to tell me that it was a gigantic Democrat strategy in order to basically ruin Trump's life because they were so terrified he would get elected? Well, you are about to go down a rabbit hole that I don't think you are even beginning to expect. E. Jean Carroll, who herself claimed she was a massive Trump fan 15 years ago, appears deranged and sick. She lives with rodents, named her cat Vagina, and her dog Tits. She writes stories about her dog, taught her about sex.
This is clearly a very rational
and paints trees blue.
whole person.
I call it the Mouse House because some very distinguished mice live here. Kahneman lives in the...
We are trusting this woman's word to ruin the life of a very successful man. Just understand where we've come to as a society.
Kitchen, Taberski lives in the bedroom. This is my shed. And on that side are the books that most influenced me growing up. On the door are the lists of my dogs. Marky, Fortuna de la Spunky,
Why am I getting feelings like this is Diane Keaton in a costume?
Heidi, Tits, Bloody, and Hepburn. The streams and the rivers were dry, and it so horrified me that I came out and started painting the rocks blue to indicate that there was once a river here. And then after I got done painting the rocks, I just sort of walked over here and then did that tree and then did that tree and then I did this tree.
Yeah, so the entire country basically took her word for it and is now calling Trump a rapist. Now, just understand the way the left operates.
This
they don't
woman's
actually
crazy.
believe in evidence. They just believe in actually killing anyone they don't like.
Yeah.
This has been proven time and time again. They don't call you a Nazi because they think you're a Nazi. They call you a Nazi so they can justify killing you. They don't call you a fascist because they think you're a fascist. In fact, I don't even think that they know what the word fascism means.
They don't.
They just use that word to basically say, now it's morally justified
Especially
to overthrow you
Diddles
by any means
Piker.
necessary. right? Because that's what you would do against an actual Nazi or fascist government, right? Emails between her and her friend, who was also a key witness in the case, reveal her talking about her grand scheme to remove Trump from office. She was funded by a billionaire Democrat, we'll talk about him in a second, benefited from changed laws specifically to prosecute Trump, and Carol was the first person in the state to file under this new law. She won a case against Trump with zero evidence, no eyewitnesses. In a trial, the judge refused to admit Trump's evidence against Carol, showcasing a politically motivated prosecution. And this person is now trusted for some reason, and now the entire country is calling Trump a rapist, and they have been for like the last decade. This is what the establishment does. This is how the gears turn and how it operates, just purely to destroy you if they don't like you. But even more than that, women actually do lie. I know this is a surprise, but sometimes they're not telling the truth. A bald man in Texas is sneezing the shit out of his face right now. But actually, they could just lie. Now, this guy is the guy that paid E. Jean Carroll's legal expenses that she got caught lying about. We will talk about that in an instant. The guy sitting next to Epstein on his island.
What?
Reid Hoffman is the guy, the billionaire, that paid for E. Jean Carroll's case against Trump. A friend of Jeffrey Epstein. With emails like, okay, come to the island, ranch, let's play. That's not weird at all, coming from history's second most notorious pedophile. Of course, the other guy, they have a whole religion based off the other guy, but we don't talk about the other guy right now. So just to understand, Trump's name shows up in the Epstein files. Yeah, Epstein coordinated literally to take Trump out. We have evidence that Epstein coordinated with Obama's lawyers to get Trump to lose his election on the Russia hoax. We have Epstein on a phone call with people in Congress while questioning Trump in regards to Russia ties, which ended up being a complete hoax. We have Epstein's bestie over here sitting with him on his island where they play on his ranch, funding a bogus sexual assault case against him. So when these people say that Trump's a pedophile, they have no evidence. In fact, there is no evidence. But because his name is mentioned in the files of a guy who worked with everybody that tried their best to destroy him.
And that he was in there multiple times, not because he was participating necessarily, because there's no evidence of that, even in the files. But because Epstein was obsessed with him because he hated him for outing him. I mean, do I think it's possible that Trump could have been involved at some point? Sure. But there's no evidence of it. That's what I'm saying.
Like, understand how badly the narrative falls apart if you actually believe in evidence for even a second. So this investigation is fucking awesome, actually.
Breaking news moments ago, the Department of Justice has launched a criminal investigation into E. Jean Carroll. She accused President Trump of sexual assault. The investigation is allegedly centered around whether Carroll committed perjury during her civil lawsuit against the president. She was eventually awarded a $5 million judgment. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche has recused himself from the investigation, given his past representation of Trump in the matter.
That is crazy, by the way. That's insane. They're getting her for perjury. Shit, dude. That's so sick. False statements under oath to help Democrats target Trump. Dude, this is so awesome. Is Trump just going after people he doesn't like? Fuck yeah, baby. They're going away. He's winning. As you can see, in a 2022 deposition, E. Jean Carroll stated that no one else was paying her legal fees. Well, it later emerged that nonprofit banned by LinkedIn co-founder Reid Hoffman covered her legal expenses. Wow. So it seems like a multi-billionaire Democrat, gigantic corporation guy that didn't want Trump to be president was funding a bogus sexual assault allegation against him.
What? Imagine that.
Wild. Lied.
Real quick. So right here, Hasan Piker had his permission to enter the UK rescinded and then ranted about it being the 1930s, making a Nazi comparison and implied Jews controlled the government, thus proving exactly why he was rejected. Stay away from us. Heidi Bachram posted this, and David Draymond, that's right, from Disturbed, reposted it. You can't make this shit up. David Draymond is, in fact, based.
About Reid Hoffman paying her expenses.
Victim.
You don't feel like a victim?
I was not thrown on the ground and ravished. Which, the word rape carries so many sexual connotations.
Yes.
What? Yeah.
Because rape is sexual.
This was not sexual.
Really? Uh-huh.
It hurt. It just, you know.
Well, I think most people think of rape as it is a violent assault. It is not.
I think most people think of rape as being sexy.
This is the person that accused Trump of rape and ruined his life. Okay? This is the person that got $5 million on a rape allegation. The one that says that he didn't rape me, rape is sexy. All right? But for some reason, the judge still
That's not
decided no,
AI,
to make
by
it
the
a
way.
point.
Let's take a short break.
Think of the fantasies.
Let's take a break.
We're just going to take a quick break. If you can stick around, we'll talk more on the other side.
Yeah, CNN really doesn't want the actual, person who claims to have been raped by Trump talk about how rape is sexy. All right? Lied about Reid Hoffman paying her legal expenses. Didn't mention allegations any time from 1996 to 2018. 3 days after Trump announces re-election, bam, she accuses him of rape. Coming from the person that says rape is sexy. Wow, insane, honestly. Now, E. Jean Carroll is getting absolutely humiliated everywhere.
Another thing that he and his lawyers
As
have
she
often
should be.
spoken about is the lack of disclosure about a big Democratic donor funding part of this case.
That's a pretty big deal.
A reason it wasn't disclosed, and did you view this as political in any way?
No.
No. I was silent about this for 20
not at
years
all.
and then decided out of the blue to come up and accuse him of raping me with billionaire Reid Hoffman funding my case. Not for political reasons, obviously.
No, of course not.
It's because I think rape is sexy. I mean, rape is bad.
I just completely forgot.
Totally forgot that billionaire Reid Hoffman funded her entire case against a billionaire, Donald Trump, 3 days after he ran for president.
That he even existed.
In your deposition?
Right.
Yes, in my deposition.
She just forgot. E. Jean Carroll
I
caught in
forgot.
deposition claiming she
I mean,
totally
what
forgot
even is that?
billionaire Reid Hoffman funded her entire lawsuit against Trump. Just slipped her mind. She just forgot, guys. She just forgot. Understand the level of evil these motherfuckers are using to destroy you. All right, never forget that she called rape sexy. All
I mean,
right,
it
and then
is
they had to
so
cut it off
sexy,
on CNN
right?
'cause, well,
At
what the
least
fuck
according
do
to
you think
this,
about that?
whatever
Even
she
Nick
is.
Fuentes, who for the record hates Trump right now, even he's backing Trump on this one. And by the way, he's completely right. He is completely right. Before getting too deep into the chaos, free cash was promised to me 3,000 years ago. One thing I recently added to my daily routine
I
is
love
using
Knox,
free cash today. Now back to the chaos. Every individual sign up literally supports the channel. So if you could click the link in the description and do the thing, that would be very appreciated.
Go ahead and do
We're
that
also
for
gonna
Lord
talk about
Nuxenor.
Trump's epic lawsuit against his rape victims. See,
That's
this is what
right.
I love to see.
Yeah!
Now, this is something that I
Yes.
like to see. Can we get more of this? The Trump administration is suing Jean Carroll.
One of the only
This
things you
is
need to
that
prove
woman who sued
is
Trump
that
in
it
civil
was
court
sexual.
for raping
Exactly.
her 45 years ago.
Exactly.
Now
but not
Trump
according
is
to E. Jean
taking the
Carroll.
fight to his rape victim.
And look, stories like this will radicalize you. Stories like this are the reason why I no longer consider myself a leftist like I used to. I am still a liberal, very much so. Just a liberal who is pro-Second Amendment and pro-free speech, which used to be a very liberal ideology, by the way. And it's stuff like this. It's stuff like the Kyle Rittenhouse situation, if you actually paid attention. And it's stuff that's happened to me in my personal life, which I won't get into right now, or else they will sue me. That has not really radicalized me, but shown me that things aren't as black and white as people like to imagine that they are. And it's really tragic that it took something like that to make me see things.
And he's suing her for perjury.
That's right.
He says
he is going to rape her in court. No, that's
What the
she
fuck?
perjured herself in the trial. This is a criminal case.
That's right.
Brought by the DOJ.
Public lashes. See, I'm actually against prison for the most part because I don't like the idea that my tax dollars are paying for prisons. Like, if there's someone that's that dangerous, he's going to kill people, like, we should execute him. And if he's not that dangerous and he's not going to kill people, I just think we should give them public lashes. Personally, I think it's
I could get down with that.
So, like, why should my taxes pay for their prison sentence, you know?
And he's going to bring the full weight of the White House down on this
Destroyer. Yes!
83-year-old.
Maybe the next hoe that decides to lie for political points is gonna be shutting the fuck up. W. Justice W.
SA victim.
Oh, that's right.
Finally, some good.
I can't believe he's suing his rape victim. How do you know she's a rape victim? Because you believe women? Your first mistake, sir.
Good news. I love to see a guy
that's what
fight back.
That's what I'm talking about. Yes.
Isn't it true, though?
Look at the way The right wing unites over justice. Can we get more of this, please? Can we please get more of this? Every single guy that came for you and came to fucking obliterate you, just jail him. Legally, of course, obviously, you throw the weight at the government and just jail him. Bro, listen, I'll be real here, all right? E. Jean Carroll goes to jail, the entire right celebrates. Literally. Hasan Piker gets deported, the whole right. We'll all come together. We'll unite on this.
And
all
me.
right? You might call this a populist tactic, but I think it's fucking worth it and awesome at the same time.
It is. It's completely awesome.
The amount of good that can be added to society if we make examples out of the worst fucking people would be cinema. It would be. No, I can't believe you're being so heartless that you would put a rape victim. I don't even know if she's a rape victim. She might just be a hoe. A hoe bitch. A bitch hoe that lied.
We all knew that was a load of nonsense. She was that woman who claimed that they went to the shopping mall and he, like, molested her in the changing room.
Yeah, which, one, he's a very high-profile person. Why he wouldn't do that in his own building, which was right across the street, from my understanding. And two, considering what she said was people's fantasies, I mean, come on.
Room or something. We know it's fake. She got awarded a $5 million settlement.
That's crazy.
And they called him a rapist because of it.
That's right.
But now our glorious hero is fighting back.
That's
He's
right.
going to put her in her place.
He's the main character in the story.
More of this.
Yeah.
See, this is the thing about the Trump administration. Why can't it just be fighting our actual enemies?
Yeah, so, but not Iran, because we love those guys, those rapists. Those rapists are cool. Anyway, so we don't need to get into it. Point is, the right unites over justice. The left unites over anarchy. And then the anarchy gets so bad, the actual government needs to step up and completely do insane amounts of overreach to basically squash everybody down. Look at COVID. Literally, the left is a party of anarcho-fascists. It's, you know, it's people that are wildly authoritarian because they refuse to actually jail the actual anarchists, and they jail the people that are the good people instead. You know, the retards shooting people up and looting stores and lighting shit on fire, they don't go after them. Therefore, basically fanning the flames of anarchy. But they will absolutely and utterly squash the good, God-fearing, average American guy that just wants to get married and have a family. All right? So, that quite classic anarcho-fascists. But the right likes justice. You have absolute fucking degenerate roach Hasan Piker calling for the death of America and shit. Just get him out. Deport him. I don't care what law you use. Figure it out. This guy shouldn't be here. There's no moral reason why this guy should be in our country. Literally, there is no moral reason why this Turk, who was born here illegally and now magically a citizen, and we have to fucking deal with this fucking shitbag traitor. There is no reason why we need to do that. Get him out. I don't care how.
I mean, yeah,
him on
I
terrorist
definitely
charges, on violating sanctions, on sedition, calling for the deaths of senators. I don't give a fuck why. In my book, every single one of those is a good enough reason to get him the fuck out of here. Same with this. You get this lying sexual assault victim, in quotes, lying and slandering somebody because they're what? A successful guy they don't like, they want to take him down, give ammo to the Democrats to call him a rapist on television every single day for the last 10 years. Literally fucking throw the book at her. If she lied, get her for perjury. Put her in jail. You know, maybe the next person won't do perjury. Justice is beautiful, actually. Man, I wish that Donald Trump was the authoritarian that the left actually thinks he is. Now, just to understand, there's crazy stuff happening in the actual political world right now around the Trump administration. I'm not saying that the number one most common religion among young women these days is witchcraft, which is a true statistic, by the way. That is true, actually, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, everyone's
tragic.
getting sick. You know, Tulsi Gabbard is leaving the government, submitting her registration.
We'll miss you, Tulsi. I know I will.
Because her husband, Abraham, has recently been diagnosed with an extremely rare form of bone cancer. He faces major challenges in the coming weeks and months. This time I must step away from my public service to be on his side, and are fully supported him through this battle, which is heartbreaking, and obviously we're praying for him, and we wish him the best of luck. And then we got, Attorney General Pam Bondi has been battling thyroid cancer in her time following her departure from her role as U.S. Attorney General for Axios. Again, I think she was a terrible Attorney General, don't get me wrong, and I'm happy she was fired.
But I hope she gets
tragic.
better.
It's really horrible, and of course we are praying for a recovery. It's unreal. It is unreal watching the Trump administration battle their way through this, all right? Members of their actual government getting cancer, their spouses getting cancer, assassination attempts all the fucking time, backstabbers everywhere, from Thomas Massey to Tucker Carlson, backstabbing him wherever he goes, despite the fact that they make believe that they were like his #1 soldiers. With leftist discourse just constantly and only being Trump bad, everything. You know, Trump says don't take Tylenol when you're pregnant, or the baby can have autism.
And then all kinds of people, yeah.
Like literally, we're dealing with fucking retards. okay? You know, calling him a rapist for fake rape allegations, calling him a pedophile because his name is in the Epstein files where Epstein was working to destroy him. Like, I don't think you understand. Of course, this is how the left responds to the news that Pam Bondi has thyroid cancer.
MAGA Lord Jesus, please let her end up with a hole in her throat that she has to push every time she speaks. Dear God, if there is a MAGA God, please let Pam Bondi's throat cancer be the worst case of cancer anybody's ever seen. Please let her have to take
This is
the
horrible.
that she's unleashed upon the thousands, millions, dare I say, of Americans.
Like, I think
she
she's.
didn't unleash any suffering on anybody. Just by the way.
I think Pam Bondi was horrible.
Dear MAGA Lord Jesus, please let her end up with a hole in her throat that she has to push every time she speaks. Please, dear MAGA Lord Jesus, please let this be the karma that she
Yeah, that's not how prayer works. Yeah, you psychopath. You big, ugly, ghoulish, dare I say, psychopath.
justly deserves.
Who looks like
So
one of the
here,
Dursleys.
The godless communists are now praying to a god that they don't believe in because they hate you so much. All right, like, I'm never going to unite with people like this, for the record.
No.
And this is just the one person that actually decided to film it, amongst the many that were just celebrating quietly because they're not fucking retarded. This is the lowest IQ of the retards, but the higher IQ retards, they just celebrate like that in group chats. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. That's real. My brother, all right, he was in med school when Donald Trump was elected president, and he showed me screenshots from that group chat. And these are the doctors, right? These are the next generation of doctors in our country. Talking about if they ever had him as a patient, they would let him die. Absolute hypocrites on the Hippocratic Oath. You know, meanwhile, the goat, the actual goat, the guy who has been basically brutally humiliated by everyone as being an anti-vaxxer, you know, and secretly unhealthy, and he's horrible, you know, because he has a weird voice. All right, RFK Jr., what's he doing? This guy, it's unbelievable. Well, let me show you. Let me show you what our goat does. All right, this is our HHS secretary. This is your HHS
Oh, God,
secretary.
that was the old HHS secretary, wasn't it?
All right, this is what our goat was doing.
Sleeping driveway. Hold on, guys. I'll be back in a flash.
Watch him go out there, and it's just a much bigger snake.
Monster. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Little fucking fishnet that probably his like 6-year-old girl has or something.
Oh, you had a siren, a missile attack from Lebanon? Dude, are you okay? Did you hear the impact?
That's a deadly snake, by the way. That's a rattlesnake, a diamondback, probably.
I just want to point out that I'm getting play-by-plays directly from Israel, from one of the people in my chat. Never hear about how there's any shooting that they do before it. It's always just them getting constant bombardments. I'm sure there's retaliations on you know that Israel does, but pretty sure they don't instigate that shit.
Only you. Amazing. Amazing. Only you.
Oh. Like, every time I open up Twitter, I either see this 75-year-old motherfucker doing like 30 pull-ups in the airport or catching.
You heard it? Oh, God, I hope everyone's okay, man.
What are we even doing in the middle of a meeting? Oh, my God. And he even puts it back on the street. No shot, he's going to pin his head. No, the new crocodile hunter. Crocodile hunter of the fucking government. Dude, this guy's a savage. Oh my God! This is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Only if it's
Oh my
poisonous,
God.
if it's just a garden snake or whatever.
He's like his hands shake. He's old as fuck, and he's still doing this.
Okay, yeah, it's a rattler.
Yeah, don't touch his fangs.
No, honey, no. I'll watch it here.
Bro, based Giga Chad alpha male protecting his woman like that.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's what I'm talking about. Western diamond. I said it was a diamondback. That is the most deadly snake in the United States of America, by the way. The Western diamondback.
Look at these rings. at the end of this here.
Oh my God.
Gonna put him in here.
He just drops it in the pillowcase. What's he gonna do?
All safe.
All safe, yeah. And he goes and he lets it go. He goes, he lets it go. He doesn't want to hurt the snake. The snake
Okay, I thought he cut his head off,
go
but
the
yeah.
wild, bro. I am just saying. I fucking
Based.
love winning. Winning is awesome. Subscribe if you like winning too, because we're going to keep doing that.
100%.
The road will be difficult. We will have setbacks, but we are going to fucking win. God is good.
And I truly do. I hope we keep winning. I consider this winning. But truth, justice, and what should be the American way. Just know things are always, I don't know, things come in waves, and it very much seems like we're on a decent path. I just hope a lot of this animosity, once Trump ends his term and we move on to whoever's next, I hope a lot of this animosity can disappear. I still think he'll have somewhat of a hand in politics, maybe be an advisor, but I don't know. We'll see. But I really hope that Kennedy stays in some kind of position. I truly do. And Sir Marcus Rubius, first of his name as well. But that's all for me to get today, guys. We will be back again tomorrow for another show. Until then, this is Alfie Animus for the Associated Guests, signing out. Have a great one. Yanuka, I hope you're okay, bub. I really do.